Hello, dearest friends, beautiful souls of love and light. This is Nenari, Princess of the Sea, coming to you with a new video. Happy summer solstice. And for those of you in the southern hemisphere, happy winter solstice. As you can see, I'm here in my beautiful 7 acres of nature. Today is a very sobering day for me, although also a day of joy. Each moment I am always, in all ways, happy, peace, calmness, blessed, and loved. And yet, even in such moments, being that I am infinite consciousness expressing itself as the princess in this life, being human is also part of the journey. As I've often said in many of my videos, in everything I write and everything I am, do, be, live, it is both and. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And in having such a human experience, we remember the spiritual being that we are. So it is both and. And there are moments when we are in our humanness, even as spiritual as we are, that we have great compassion for understanding where another has been on the journey, and great love for where another has been on the journey, for we too have been on that same journey. And today happens to be one of those moments. Last evening, I received an email from YouTube, which I have many subscribers that I'm subscribed to on YouTube, and receive their notifications when they've posted a new video. And so my dearest friend Ron had posted a new video, and I will leave Ron's link to his latest video here below in the video description. And upon watching it, I just sat there and cried. Real tears of compassion, of love, of pain, of joy, of peace, of so many things flowing through me in the infinite consciousness that I am. Today is, as I said, a sobering day and also a joyous day. Today being the solstice is also the day for me of remembering. 2 years ago this day, my cousin was found dead in her place. Her daughter had found her. My cousin was an alcoholic, also doing drugs. Unfortunately, I come from a family, or fortunately, depending on which way you see it, I come from a family who is very dysfunctional. A mom who is a prescription drug addict who drowns herself in her sorrows because she has never dealt with the pain of healing from what her father did and the abuse that she inflicted upon me and my brother as children as a result. My father, who's emotionally abusive, claims to be unconditional love, who is conditional love instead. My brother, who is a convicted sex offender. My cousin, who is a drug dealer. The rest of my family, who are all alcoholics and drug abusers, prescription and other forms of drugs otherwise. And as a result, my cousin tried to get out of that. And she left the family, much like I did. Except she continued to drown herself in alcohol and drugs and was never able to deal with the pain, even though I attempted to help her to heal from that pain, to see who she really was, and to call her to be the goddess that she is. She could never heal from that, and so this day 2 years ago, she killed herself. And I say all of this not from a space of judgment. I don't blame my family for where they are on the journey. I'm not angry with them. I don't judge them. In fact, I have great compassion and unconditional love for them where they are, because I know their pain. I have never taken drugs. I have never been an alcoholic. Yes, on occasion I have drank, off and on over the years, but I have never done such things as become an alcoholic or drown my sorrows in prescription drugs or alcohol or other forms of drugs or anything of that nature. I rose above all of that. Not to say that I'm better than anyone. I'm just like you. I'm spiritual and human too. I'm both and. But I rose above it and healed myself from all of that pain, from all the dysfunction that happened in my family. And the way I did it was coming through a space of compassion and forgiveness so that I'm able to give that gift to others. So watching Ron's video last night and seeing his pain and knowing that I too went through I was in such pain. I did do prescription drugs, not as a addiction, a drug habit, but I did prescription drugs because at that time I was unawakened and thought that prescription drugs were the answer, that I had all these quote unquote diseases from a physical standpoint. As I've said before, conventional medicine has diagnosed me with 3 terminal illnesses and I'm supposed to be dead by now. And so I was taking prescription drugs to supposedly alleviate symptoms instead of dealing with the pain and the hurt and the dysfunction that happened in my family. And it wasn't until I healed that by getting off of those prescription drugs that I was taking and actually healing my life and healing the pain and coming to a space of forgiveness and compassion and all the things that I wrote about in my second book, Stepping into Spiritual Oneness, of my journey, of coming to understand and not being angry with my family and really forgiving them and what true forgiveness means and really being compassionate in what compassion and unconditional love really means and unconditional acceptance, that I'm able to give that gift to others in helping others. I attempted to do so with my cousin, and she couldn't see herself through the pain. I loved her through it, but she still couldn't see herself through the pain. So today I celebrate the 2-year anniversary of her death, but actually her freedom. Because I would rather see her be happy where she is now with Source and knowing that she's with me. Because those who are loved ones who die physically, they never truly die. They're always with us. They're just with us in a different form, in a different way. And detoxing myself from those prescription drugs that I was taking for all those symptoms of the lupus, the both forms of lupus and the rare blood disorder that was given to me, and the asthma that I had, and going through that detoxing process was difficult, and you know, I've come to that place of healing. And so to watch Ron's video reminded me of those moments when I was literally on my hands and knees praying to God, saying, "Why have you forsaken me?" The anger that I had in those moments. I feel and felt exactly as Ron feels right at this moment. And back then, I really didn't have anyone who was there for me physically here on this earth. I didn't have any friends to reach out to me to say it was okay, to say, "Hey, I love you," to uplift me and hold me up and see me for the goddess that I was. In fact, as I remember in those moments, literally being in such excruciating pain physically and emotionally and spiritually in those moments, it was Steve who came to me in spirit. And for those of you who have watched my previous videos here on YouTube, you know who Steve is. And if you haven't watched them, please watch them and you will understand. But Steve came to me on my hands and knees that night, told me literally, get the fuck up. Nenari, get the fuck up. And I was kind of like looking around going, what? Who the hell is this? Because it had been 16 years I hadn't heard his voice. I blocked him. I refused to hear him in spirit because I was so angry at myself and so angry at the world and so angry at everyone in it and angry at God too. I was very judgmental. I was very angry. I was a very hurting soul back then, all those years ago. And when Steve came to me in spirit and said, get the fuck up, you know who you really are. You know you are Goddess. You know that I'm here. You know I'm here. You know you have a soul agreement with your twin soul, who I was, and now I'm giving the twin soul agreement to Chris. And he will take it over and be with you. All of that happened that night. I didn't have someone physically there for me. And that's why I'm there physically for people now. Because he loved me in spirit and gave me the gift of love, unconditional love. He didn't call me crazy. He didn't call me delusional. He just told me, as Jesus said, take the bed and rise. Take up your bed and rise. Be who you really are. And that's what started my journey. Started my walking process that night. And so watching Ron, where he's at, I have great compassion for him. And just recently I was texting with my twin soul about this. Because for 4 years, I stood in unconditional love. And I still do stand in unconditional love and unconditional acceptance and calling my twin soul forth to who he really is. Because he was in such pain. Although Ron isn't drinking, I know that. I know you're not, dear friend, but I do know your pain. And my twin soul, he was in pain for many years. He was drinking. And there were many, many nights, as I've reflected in my videos here. If you've watched my YouTube videos, you'll know. There were many nights that he came to me drunk, in pain. In fact, today he just texted, finally admitting that. And I honor him for that. And as he also texted me, I taught him to be raw. I did. All the nights that he came to me in pain, in such vulnerability, sobbing uncontrollably, in rawness, in that pain, he wasn't delusional. Nor is Ron, nor is any of us when we're in our moments of pain and hurting. We're simply going through the process to awaken to the love within us, to rebirth. And all those moments that I held my beloved twin soul, loved him through it, I never called him delusional. Ever. Nor will I ever call him that. I love him that much to simply love him through it. Just like I love you, Ron. Just like I love all of you who are in such pain. Even my cousin who chose to leave this earth. But I will tell you this. For all of you who have been called crazy, delusional, for things like what Ron has done on his video, that I honor him for so much, for having the courage and the strength and the vulnerability and the rawness to do what he did. Thank you, Ron. My cousin, some would say she wasn't that strong. She chose another path. She left this earth 2 years ago. But for all of you who have been told you've been crazy, I invite you to YouTube. Think Different. It's an Apple commercial that came out, I think it was in the 80s. Watch that commercial. Richard Dreyfuss is saying what he says. Here's to the crazy ones, because we're the ones who change the world. So Ron, you're not crazy and I love you. And my beloved twin soul, neither are you crazy and I love you. And neither am I crazy. Each moment my twin soul tells me I'm delusional for the things I say about us, about our relationship, about what's happened, all the love letters he sent me, all the deep love that's between us, everything. I know that I'm telling the truth and I'm strong. I'm not going to be like my cousin and off myself. I learned that lesson many, many years ago. I've talked about it in my YouTube videos and on the air on radio too with Michael on his show. When I was in grade 4, my whole entire year, grade 4, my grade 4 teacher told me over and over again that I wasn't good enough, that I'd never amount to anything. She even told my parents that in teacher conference too, parent-teacher conference thing that they had. For that whole year and for many years after it, I believed it, and I went about proving it in my own life that I wasn't good enough. It's what caused all the pain that I spent years in being so dysfunctional and taking those prescription drugs that I did for that time to supposedly heal what the doctors told me needed to be healed, when really it was within me that needed to be healed. And it wasn't until I got off those prescription drugs, detoxed my body physically and detoxed spiritually, that I came to understand that. And so I am strong. And I know that when my twin soul or anybody else comes to me and says that I'm delusional, I don't believe them. I don't resonate with it. A dear friend of mine just wrote to me recently about this. And I'll paraphrase her words because I don't have her letter right in front of me. But she went on to say about how the delusion and the illusion is so strong, the matrix is so strong, and how far away people have come from their intuition and not listening to their own heart. Well, I listen to my own heart. My twin soul texted me once recently saying that that was dormant within me before he and I came together 5 years ago, and he was right. That was dormant within me because I was following my heart in every aspect of my life except romantic love, except for when it came to him in twin soul relationships and romantic love. And now there's nothing that can stop me. Abraham Hicks says, one person who's in the vortex, or I would say who's following their heart, which the heart is connected to the mind, and not the mind as in our brain, but the universal mind, the universal heart, as we call it in Lemuria. The Lemurian way is to be connected in the heart and the universal mind, the universal heart, as one. And when we're following that, nothing can stop us. And this dear friend wrote to me and she said, no matter if your twin soul calls you delusional or anyone calls you delusional, follow your heart, follow your intuition, follow what you know is true, what is true from source, from the master artist, spirit, God, all that is, whatever you so choose to call it. Stay in that truth. That is her wish for me and her wish for all. And that's my wish for all of you, is that you follow your heart as one with the universal heart, the universal mind. That's the Lemurian way. And the Lemurian way is to remind us, each other, not that we're delusional, but to remind each other of the love we are and uplift each other. Michael Beckwith, God love him, he just did a beautiful talk about this, and I'll put the link for that too in this video, in my video description. His Wednesday talk, he talks about gossip. And yeah, you are to gossip about people, but it's not gossip in the way you think. You are to gossip about them and uplifting them. And our 1 Billion Rising dance that we did back in February, I can leave the link for that too in my video description. That's what we did. We turned it around just like Michael Beckwith did in his talk. You gossip about people as to who they really are. You uplift them. And that's how I was able to heal my twin soul from all the years of drinking. Because he came to me so many nights, but one night in particular I made reference to in my video a while back. It was back in February 2011. he came to me sobbing uncontrollably. Yes, he was drunk that night, but he shared with me things that he's never shared with anyone before, things that only he and I know. And when he did that night, drunk or no drunk, he was in pain. That's not delusional, just like Ron isn't delusional for being in pain. He's feeling full out in the moment, as I always say. Children feel it full out in the moment, a tantrum. And then they come back into love a few moments later. And that's all Ron was doing. That's all that my beloved twin soul was doing that night. And that night, I held him in love. And I loved him through it. And I reminded him, as I remind him in each moment, of who he really is. That he is the troubadour. The infinite consciousness of the master artist, expressing himself as the troubadour. That he is amazing. That he is love, regardless of all the pain, regardless of all the things he said while he was drunk or did when he was drunk, or the way he's acted towards me and the crazy things he's done. People would say that he's crazy. I don't see him as that. I don't see Ron as that. I don't see anyone who's in pain as that. My response to Ron in his video, and you'll see it in his comments, was this. I understand what you are going through more than you know, my dearest friend Ron. I share your pain. I feel deeply where you are because I have been there. What I can say is that it is good that you have gotten passionate and angry, and I hear you loud and clear. And from this passion and anger, something new will birth within you. The butterfly is coming out of the cocoon. I love you, my dearest friend Ron. I am sorry for your pain, and I know that from it, a new will come for you, and for us all who feel as you do right now. Know that I am here for you, as we all are. The answer is love. The answer, when someone comes to you on a YouTube video, or as my twin soul did in pain that night, is love. To do as Michael Beckwith said, gossip and love. Gossip as to who they really are. You know she is an amazing person. You know everything is working out for him. To tell them that, just as I did my twin soul that night. And I do in each moment. And for those of you who have responded to my email that I put out about Ron's video and to my posting on Facebook and on our Sacred Path, Sacred Union group, I posted this earlier on my Facebook and I'm going to read it and share it with you here as well. I want to say how much I appreciate your messages here, everyone. If it is one thing that I've come to know and understand from my own life experience of going through similar to what Ron is, and also in helping the many I mentor, and also, I will say, in helping my twin soul, it is that when someone is going through such, we are to love them through it with compassion, understanding, and upliftment, to see them for who they really are as the beautiful, amazing soul and person they are, as we are this as well, all of us. Never berate or maim or put down a person in pain by calling them delusional or crazy, or dismiss what they are feeling and going through, because in that moment what is occurring for them is real, and the way to heal it is through loving them through it. I am reminded of this quote that was sent to me the other day that I've seen many times over the years. And this quote is this: "A friend is someone who knows the song of your heart and can sing it back to you when you have forgotten the words." It's by an unknown author. I am also reminded of what our group description on Facebook is for our Sacred Path, Sacred Union group, which I will leave the link also for on this video description. The Sacred Path of Sacred Union is about the experience and expression of the isness of unconditional love and balance of the one within infinite expression, of that one which are human and other infinite forms. We are remembering and being more and more of who we really are, which is love and balance. To love and be loved again and again is why we are here. This is a sacred, safe space and resonance for all to intimately share from the heart, to know that in each moment we are held in unconditional love, free from judgment, unconditionally accepting, simply accepting you as you are. Together, we are co-creating a sacred resonance of love, healing, light, and beauty in thanksgiving of knowing who you really are, which is God, Goddess of love. When a woman of the Mbutu tribe, the African tribe, knows she's pregnant, she goes to the jungle with the other women, and together they pray and meditate until you get to the song of the child. When a child is born, the community gets together and they sing the song, the child's song. They sing it. When it comes to your wedding, the person hears his song. And finally, when their soul is going from this world, family and friends are approaching and, like his birth, sing their song to accompany it in the journey. In the Mbutu tribe, there is another occasion when men sing the song. If at some point the person commits a crime or aberrant social act, they take him to the center of town, and the people of the community form a circle around him or her. They sing your song. The tribe recognizes that the correction for antisocial behavior is not punishment, but is the love and the memory of his true identity. So they take him into town, and one by one, for days on end, they tell him every good deed he has ever done. They remind him of every good deed that he or she has ever done. And this goes on for days until he understands and she understands who he really is, she really is. And then once that is complete, they welcome him or her back into the tribe, and a celebration of dance and food commences. That is how the Mbutu tribe handles such. When we recognize our own song, we have no desire or need to hurt anyone or call them delusional or call them crazy. Your friends know your song and sing it to you when you forget. Those who love you cannot be fooled by mistakes you have committed or dark images you show to others. They remember your beauty when you feel ugly, your total when you feel broke, your innocence when you feel guilty, and your purpose when you are confused. That is our purpose statement for our Sacred Path, Sacred Union group, and that is how I live my life, who I am, what I be, in my every breath. And it is because of that, my loving my twin soul through it, all those nights, that helped him to finally get off drinking, to be the leader he is. And I know in my heart and in my soul that it is what will ultimately bring us together, no matter how much he fights it. I'm reminded of the letter he wrote to me 5 years ago, actually, almost to the day. It was on June 3rd of 2008 that he wrote this. He said, "Here is the truth. Lemuria and Atlantis were connected similar as the north to the south. Our connection is because of this. There was no Princess Troubadour then, but I was a sailor at that time, and you were my lover, as you are now. I saw the eruptions and the red glows at sea, and we were connecting, and both hearts were torn by the departure. I felt inclined to sail into it to save the land. When I left, I vowed, when I left, we vowed to one another of our love for one another and our vow to never leave one another. Our love and our vows to one another go very deep. The energetic flows that migrated into the space-time continuum of the now, and is why we are to be together now in this life, why we will never leave one another, and why we are meant to be, no matter how much I fight this. It is written in the Akasha. You have seen it there, as have I. We are to continue as we are/were in Lemuria, and to bring Lemuria back here to this now. Now in this life, you are my princess, and I am your troubadour. It is written in the Akasha for us to be together. Namaste, precious. Signed it with the C. Tomorrow, I am doing an interview about the Akasha, about Lemuria, and I will leave the link for that here below in the video description too. So it's no accident all of this is coming up now at the solstice. Full circle. Everything comes full circle. You wrote that letter to me, my beloved, sweet troubadour, 5 years ago. That was coming from your soul. And in each moment, I don't listen to the body when the body says to me the things that you say. I listen to the soul. I listen to our soul, our one soul, as twin souls that we share. And I call you to that soul right now in this moment, as I always call you, to say, I know how much you love me, and I love you. To say, you wrote that letter to me of our vow to one another. And tomorrow I will share the wisdom of Lemuria and of Atlantis, and of this shift, and of the fact that of our true marriage. For you wrote in Song of the Troubadour, the master artist poured through you these words: body and spirit need not understand what the soul celebrates with spirit. What doubt or fear or uncertainty can stand in the face of surrendering to the perfect will of divine source? There is a power beyond the grasp of man that is freely given, as such perfect will is yearned for. Invisible bonds are the currents that bind souls. Such current had already brought the troubadour and the princess together. Though separated and never having met, their marriage was already sealed in the sacredness of love's deepest vows of the heart. Love has no concept of past, present, or future. Who in the land of man has shined as a mirror of my very heart? What constellation of stars has been truer than these in their steadfastness? What love song have I sung or painted across the skies that is not a testimony of this same love witnessed this night? It is the purpose and the calling of the Lord of Lords to grant the princess and the troubadour to be united in body, spirit, and soul. May the song of the troubadour be echoed throughout the lands as it is sung to the princess, my daughter. It is my heart that beats within them. Angels now stand guard over, both as renewal is beheld this very season amidst them. May indeed the song of the troubadour be echoed throughout the lands as it is sung to the princess, the master artist's daughter. I am that princess. I am the princess. Some may say that Song of the Troubadour and Song of the Princess is an allegory, and that they are archetypes, and this is true. And yet also, in human form of infinite consciousness expressing itself, I am the princess, and you, my twin soul, my beloved sweet troubadour, you are the troubadour, and your song, the song of the troubadour, be echoed throughout the lands as it is sung to the princess. I'm doing that right now here in this video. This is your song. This is our song together. The song of the troubadour and the song of the princess as one. We are as one, my love. Tomorrow I will go do this interview. And again, once more, as I always have been throughout the 5 years and beyond, the song of the troubadour echoed throughout the lands as it is sung to me, the princess. I will share such. Body and spirit need not understand what the soul celebrates with the spirit, my love. Your body may say to me and to others of all the lies you tell yourself and your family and our friends and your friends. But I know the truth. And in your heart, you know the truth too. And I call you to be that truth. I call you to rise and be the troubadour and join me. Because you very well know that there are 2 twin souls that I cannot reveal right now that are coming together this weekend, that when they do and they come out publicly are going to rock this world and the music industry and the entertainment industry in a way that has never been rocked before, because they will be rocking the truth of twin souls, and they will be rocking the truth of true love, and they will be rocking the truth of unconditional love and passion and everything that you and I are, my beloved sweet troubadour. So this video is for Ron, who is in pain right now. I share your pain. And I hold you and uplift you in love, knowing who you really are, Ron. Knowing you are a god. Knowing you in your own right are a troubadour. And that you will rise out of the cocoon and into the butterfly and spread your wings and rebirth from this pain and this anger and this passion that you are experiencing right now. Just like I know my beloved sweet troubadour will rise. And all of us who are in pain. My cousin, she rose. She rose into what we call heaven, the other side. And I love you, Kathy. And I know you're always here. I feel your presence right now as I'm doing this video, and I know you and Ron and my twin soul, Steve, all of you are with me as I'm doing this. I feel the power and the love so pouring through me right now. I'm vortexing as I'm doing this video. I love you all. And I know we will rise. We will rise in the truth. So hold on to that truth, Ron, and all of you who are in pain right now. Feel it, express it full out, just like a child does. A child does in each moment. They experience their tantrum, and then they come right back into love and a joy. So happy winter solstice to all of you in the southern hemisphere. Happy summer solstice to all of you here in the northern hemisphere. I love you all. And may the light, love, oneness, and language of Lemuria be with you, guide you. May your heart be guided by love, and may your songs echo this same heart. Espavo.